Welcome to Dr. Z show. Today we have Elaine Santore with us, and we are going to talk about spiritual experiences and how spirit has changed our lives. Because a lot of people think that, these are little coincidences in life, but they're not really coincidences. They are the spirit working with us and trying to help us in different ways. So that's what Dr. Z show is about. So Elaine, how are you today?
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So tell us a little bit about how did you started with spiritualism, and did you had any experiences when you were growing up about spirit?
Well, I grew up in a very Catholic family. I went to Catholic school throughout, my childhood and high school. And my mom came from the Philippines, and they're very Catholic there, but she would have these people, these prayer groups where somebody came in who was kind of not necessarily like a Catholic. It was kind of a folk religious person, and they would call into spirit.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I didn't know what it was, and I thought it was strange. And actually, my father kind of asked us not to go to this person anymore because he thought that this person was fake.
Mm.
So I kind of grew up under that, kind of belief that if you weren't just praying and doing what they taught us in school, that it was not real.
Mm-hmm.
That there was one way to pray to God, and that was it. But throughout my childhood, I would feel a lot of different spiritual experiences that I couldn't see,
Mm-hmm.
and I could never really pinpoint it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd go into homes, especially homes, we have family on the East Coast who have older homes, and I would feel different spirits.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have a tough time sleeping.
Mm.
Because I would either see things or hear things that would keep me up. So, and people would always say, oh, you have such an active imagination.
Mm-hmm.
And even in our own house in California, I would periodically feel different spirits. And then in my preteens, there would be poltergeists in our house.
Wow. So you have seen them.
Like they would knock over like bread, a door would open.
Not like the Steven Spielberg
No,
movie.
but just, not that exciting. But there'd be periods where a door would just open, even if you locked it.
Wow.
And family would be like, oh, wind,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And later on, I learned, as I progressed with spiritualism, was that it's actually very common for poltergeists to show up in houses with preteen girls.
Mm-hmm.
And the actual movie Poltergeist, the girl is that age.
Mm-hmm.
So at the time, I thought either it was something I was making up or just nothing. And then also, I would lose things a lot. Things would just move around my house.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just make the biggest deal out of it. Like, I would be like, I swear it was here. I don't mean to be running late. And I was always running late, like I was always making my parents late for work because I put something for school somewhere and then it would just disappear. And I'm fairly certain that was like some sort of guide or spirit just like moving stuff around. There was a lot of that growing up. And then, but it wasn't until maybe a few years ago as I got into yoga and different types of spirituality, and then also in recovery. I've been sober for a few years now. So getting into that, I started kind of progressing my spirituality and getting interested in spiritualism and mediumship and practicing mediumship and talking with guides. And I learned from talking to guides almost daily that a lot of the things that I thought I was imagining or not, that I thought were not real were actually real. I had an incident, again, I was on the East Coast in my family's home, which is actually not far from where spiritualism started, and they have
Lilydale?
Yeah, Lilydale. We're not directly there, but we're in that area, and it's interesting, like the history there. But
yeah, I'm planning to go to Lilydale.
Yeah, we should all go. Anyway, I was in the house. It was nighttime. We actually hadn't been in the house for a long time. Like the house had been empty for some time because we'd been living in the Bay Area for most of the year. And as I was just, hanging out in the kitchen, I had my dog. My dog's really small. I'm carrying her around. And, like all of a sudden, there was a glass on the counter, and then it just flew. it just like flew off the counter and then just splattered everywhere. And nobody else was awake. Like nobody else was in the room except for me and my dog. And then in the next hallway closet, the next room, I heard some kind of crash in the closet, and it was like a lamp had fallen over.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and nobody was in that room either. So, you know, this was kind of before I started tapping into spiritualism and everything like that. And I started freaking out. I went upstairs and was like, Mom, can you please pray? Because your prayers work, mine don't. And can you just please pray that this goes away, like whatever it is? And I started freaking out. And they were just like, okay, I don't.
So I have two stories about this, which are so interesting. That when I was a kid, I was about like I would say 10 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and my mother gave me some money, and she said that go and get some rice from the store. So it was just like, you know, you walk one block to the store and
Mm-hmm.
get rice, and so I went to the store, and I remember I had this. It was like an open kind of not a bag of rice, but more
Mm-hmm.
like a pound of rice in a
Yeah.
bag. So I was walking home, and I was like a child, and so this woman, she was kind of like I knew her before, and I was going this way, and she was coming from the other side, and she looks at me and she says, "Oh my gosh, you are looking so beautiful." And as soon as she said that, the bag of rice just buzzed, and all my rice was like on the floor. So there was one event. I went home and I told my mom, and she said, "Oh well, here's a couple of more dollars, rupees to
Just
go and get."
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was one,
Yeah.
and I thought of it as like, you know, a coincidence which
Mhm.
happened. But
Mm-hmm.
about 2 years ago, I am flying from San Francisco going home to Pakistan, and I stopped in Emirates, and my nephew, he lives there, and so I went to his uncle's house, and they set up the dinner for me, and we were having dinner and having a conversation, and out of nowhere, the jug of water just bam, it like flies down to the floor, and it is broken into pieces, like tiny pieces, and everybody's like, wow. And I'm like, it reminded me, kind of connected me to that event
Yeah.
when I was a child.
Yeah.
So I think that this kind of phenomena is real. And do you remember that movie Carrie?
Yes.
That's what she was doing.
Yeah. Only she was like lighting it on fire. Like,
Yeah.
It's like fire too, with like blood. You know, we haven't reached that level yet. But we're not there yet. We're working on it.
So in this show we talk about spiritual experiences and how spirit tries to come close. And I think that those moments when these things are like breaking and falling down, I think the spirits are really coming very close to tell us something which we need to pay attention to.
Yeah.
So can I give you a message?
Yes.
So, you know, as I touch into your vibration, I see this little girl, and she's in a swing, and she just keeps swinging and swinging, and you're sitting right next to her. And it feels like you have a bond with this girl. And she says that for the last 2 years, you have been on a journey which was very difficult, and you didn't really feel at home last 2 years. But now she says that you're getting out of it, and you are on a new path. And she says that now you will figure out the right things for you and the right work to do, because you know the working conditions of human beings, like we go to work but we don't really like it. So that is also important. How much time do you spend during the day on your work, and you have to feel good about it. So she's saying that you are on the right path, and you are going to make great progress in your spiritual journey and in your life. So she leaves you with a wonderful hug. And
I think I know who that is.
Who is it?
I think it's my mom's sister. She was stillborn.
Oh.
They don't talk about her that often, but yeah.
So yeah, that's what we do in this show. We give spirit messages.
Yay!
And if you want to get a message, please email me at drzshow@gmail.com. Again, drzshow@gmail.com. And Elaine, I wanted to ask you, what is your favorite film?
I really like Carrie. Now that you're talking about it all the time, I love that movie. I love horror movies.
Yeah, because in Carrie, remember, like, sometimes there are movies which you can relate.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of teenager girls enjoyed that film, and
Yeah.
like she was this soul who was not very empowered, and her mother was. Remember, you were talking about how our parents tell us what
they're
to do
all
and
gonna
what
laugh at you.
And so I think at the end, she was empowered, but we don't know if we want everybody to be empowered like that. It was Brian De Palma, and I love movies, and I'm working on a film right now, and it's called Soldier of Love, and we are working on the screenplay, and very soon we will be shooting the film. And today's spirit message is, thank you, Elaine, for coming today. It was really wonderful having you in the show, and we'll bring you back again.
Yes.
So we will see you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.